Okay, so you've had an offer accepted on your property, so congratulations. The next stage is your property will proceed to the solicitors and we will start our sales progression.
Your solicitors will formally instruct the sale by sending over some paperwork which they'll need signed and sent back over. If you are a seller with us, we do send this paperwork out when you do fully instruct us onto the market.
Here at Browns we are award winning and we do have a dedicated sales progressor, so you will have one point of contact from your sales progressing to offer stage right through to completion. If you haven't been lucky enough to have the digital legal pack, you will need to supply your solicitor with the following documents: title deeds, any building regulations, any planning permission, fencer certificates for windows, any certificates of anything that you've had done to the property.
Fixtures and fittings form is something that we will go through with you when the paperwork goes out for if we instruct you as a seller on the market. Basically what stays and what goes with the property, anything that's being left over or anything that you've agreed with the sellers. Of course this can be stated on the fixtures and fittings form, which then can be confirmed in the contract with the solicitors. If your property is leasehold, that means that you will be having an additional charge, which is just something called the ground rent or peppercorn rent, which is basically just, as I say, an additional charge onto the property. If it's owned by a management company, some properties in the South Shields are, we'll have to get a hold of the management pack, which you can obtain through a solicitor.
Once both buyer and seller have completed their paperwork, the seller solicitor will then draft the draft contracts. It's around this time that you'll need to have an appointment with your mortgage broker once your offer has been accepted to start your full mortgage application. The mortgage broker will arrange for a valuer to go out to the property, value the property and send the valuation back to the lender. You may want to instruct a surveyor. Browns can help you with this, or your mortgage broker or solicitor can help you with that. Once the draft contracts have been received, the buyer solicitor will then raise any inquiries. Inquiries are basically just questions backwards and forwards. It's very common for the solicitors to go back and forth with questions relating to any titles that are in the draft contract until they're satisfied with any answers that they've got. At this point, the buyer solicitor will order searches. Your searches will include a coal mining search, an environmental search, a water search and a local authority search.
Me or Kerry will of course try and obtain a date which the local search is due back, which obviously is the date that we kind of need to chase everything up to make sure everything's all came back. If the date obviously is all correct, then inquiries will be raised to your solicitor, which of course then we'll get answers on and then send back over to the buyer solicitor, vice versa.
Once all inquiries have been satisfied and both solicitors are happy that the transactions are complete, this is when we'll look at an exchange of contracts. Exchange of contracts makes the sale legally binding. And the final stage is completion, and that is the day that you will get your keys. We do advise that you make sure, if you're a seller, you have everything packed up in the house and ready to go for normally around about lunchtime. This whole transaction for sales progression usually takes somewhere between 12 and 16 weeks, depending on how big your chain is. If you're a first-time buyer, possibly you may get in the 12-week. If you're in quite a long chain, it may take slightly longer.